Hey, what's going on, y'all? This is Ricardo Billenzar, and welcome to the channel, Lessons with Ricardo. Today, we're going to be exploring not really an alternative to Security Onion, but a complementary, how the hell do I say that? I don't even know, but we're going to be looking at an application that bundles very well with Security Onion, and it's Wazuh. Yeah, I've never done that before. I had to at least try at least once. I grew up in that era. So if you know what I did, if you know what it relates to, drop a comment. You know, see, let me know how stupid I look. Or just do it anyway. All right, y'all, so let's go and jump into the video. See ya. All right, y'all, so we are back. We're going to jump right into installing Wazuh. Now, Wazuh is advertised, I guess I should say, as an XDR and a SIEM. Now, I'm emphasizing that because looking at both Security Onion and using my day job experience, it really doesn't function like the SIEM I'm used to. And the reason why I say that is because there are certain components I expect to be just by default being done by a SIEM and being, I guess, searchable or indexed by the SIEM that you just don't get right away with Wazuh. And, you know, you'll see for yourself. But the point is, it really is a great tool. Like, honestly, it is going to show up in my next video where I walk through being compromised and finding out that I was compromised and the role that Wazuh played in assisting me in identifying some of the things I can improve. So there's so many things packaged in this one application. I can't touch on all of it in this video, so I want to focus on just installing. But once we do the installation, there will be future videos on configuring and walking through as much of that as you probably will be interesting, hopefully. All right, so anyway, that being said, let's go and get into it. First things first, as always, we start with the documentation from the vendor's website. And for Wazuh, the website will be in the description below, but I start with just looking at the quick start portion for this one. And here we will find that there are some operating systems it is meant to be installed on. So, key difference so far between Security Onion and Wazuh is that Security Onion gives the option of a prepackaged ISO, or pretty much its own platform, where, or at least seems that way, where they've done all of the groundwork and the application runs on the operating system just right off the install. Well, I guess right from boot, right? On the other hand, Wazuh is packaged together as a installable application that you have to first set up your operating system to receive it. Now, it does break down which operating systems work with it. I stick with the flavor of Ubuntu. I am trying to get more into Arch Linux, but either way, that's not an option here. CentOS and Red Hat are pretty much the same thing, and Amazon Linux too. I have no idea what that compares to, but I know if you know Linux, you can at least get around these and navigate as much as you need to. If you don't know Linux, please stay with my channel and explore other people's channels. Linux is something you want to understand if you're really truly interested in working in technology, whether it be as an engineer, security person, or anything like that. Just get your hands on it, try it out. So I'm going with 2204. I think I was going to try 23 at one point. Sometimes packages mess up if you don't do the exact version they specify. I do like pushing the limits, pushing boundaries, and trying what I want to try. Right? It doesn't hurt anything. I can always start over if I mess anything up. All right. So as you saw, there is a -A, which means it installs everything in one. Now, flipping over to the installation alternatives, it has a couple options there. My OVA, which is a virtual machine. Just a tip. Well, I guess just a note here. I am walking through an installation in a VM, but later on I do switch it over to a container and it runs beautifully. No problems at all. This is much faster running a container than running on the VM, and you have less issues, at least in Proxmox, with doing copy and pasting from your host machine to the actual container itself. So it makes it easier for installations down the road as well. and actual management too. All right, so what do we have here? So now what we're looking at are the individual components. So what you saw here is that Wazuh is actually broken down into 3 primary components. There's the indexer, the server, and the dashboard. And each of these have their own specification for minimum hardware requirements. Now for me, I'm using the, I would say the average of the 3, but it's really just the highest specs for the 3 components you can install. I'm using that middle ground kind of, which is 16 gigs of RAM. So I'm pretty much duplicating what I did with the mini PC on Security Onion. Now, please feel free to try a lesser amount, but if you watch my Security Onion video, you know that these type of, appliances, I call them, really do hog up the RAM a lot. And the main component of Security Onion is very similar to the component in Wazuh that eats that RAM is going to be your Kibana Elasticsearch, and also on Wazuh it's called Open Search, I think is what it's called, but they both hog a lot of RAM, so you want to make sure you have enough for that. Now here it shows just some of the storage expectations that you should really look out for, which is good to know, right? So 90 days, not bad. You don't need a lot of storage to run this, and we will get into videos setting up backups and learning how to make space work for this installation. All right, so I assume you know how to install Ubuntu. I'm not walking through that installation, but I'm going to show you from a fresh install on Ubuntu with a desktop what this looks like. Now you don't need a desktop. There is not a desktop, I guess, edition like in Security Onion that I'm aware of. Everything is completely web hosted. It's a web application. All right. So, bit of advice when you're installing Wazuh is have the installation guide up and available on the virtual machine you're installing on, or machine you're installing on, so you can just copy and paste your commands. So here we find that curl is not already installed, so we're going to do a quick installation using the apt pack manager, the apt package manager. And there we go. Let's rerun the curl. Well, let's clear the screen, rerun the curl command. And I hope this is clear enough for you. I see it just fine, but hopefully it shows up on whatever you're watching this on. All right, now it actually does take a while. So let me go ahead and I want to check one other thing. Since I installed this on Proxmox, while we're getting this installed, I want to check first my IP address. So now I know the IP is .1. Well, the CIDR block is all the same, so is 113. It does not show up here. Reason why, my Proxmox does not have the agent running yet on the VM. So now I need to go ahead and install that on the agent. I'm doing all this just in case you're running Proxmox to show you how this part works. If you're not running Proxmox, you can totally ignore this completely. I just try to take every opportunity I can to show you something, instead of sitting there pausing and skipping around. So let's go ahead and look at the status of the agent. Now I know it's a little bit off screen, but trust me, you see the import bits once it pops up. And it does show that it is loaded but inactive. So let's make this inactive. Well, what? No, active. What am I talking about? It's late. All right. And when we do that is the sudo system ctl enabled and QEMU, which is totally not going to do what I think it's going to do. And we'll see in just a moment why that is. So the enable command will ensure that a service is launched when the system is rebooted. It is something that I typically turn on when I install a new component that has a service aspect to it. In this case, service does not work. I don't believe the agent is set up as a service itself. And if it is, I just have to figure out later how to do that part. So for now, I'm just going to go and start the agent and make sure it is started, and I'll try to figure out how to do the service prep later. All right, so now we've done that. The installation of Wazuh has completed. It gives you a password, which I don't mind sharing because it is not the password I currently have. But I will show you how to update the password for admin or lock it down. Well, actually, no, I don't think we can lock it, but we can update it and change it, obviously. So that will be part of this as well. If I remember correctly, we'll have to do that live. That'd be fun. But let's go through and finish setting up everything first. And we'll create a new user. All right, so there you have it. So we're looking at interface here. Now the interface, I want to point out a few things to you, okay? So what we have here are going to be I call them the 4 blocks of monitoring that Wazuh focuses on. We have the security information management at the top left. We have the auditing and policy monitoring on the right. The threat detection response in the bottom left, and the regulatory compliance in the bottom right. Now, these are here because Wazuh comes pre-configured with rule sets that will monitor against proven frameworks within these spaces. Now, an example of a framework is MITRE ATT&CK. All right, now system events is what we're used to when it comes to SIEM, so it is here. It just, I don't show it in the video, but Wazuh doesn't capture network events for some reason. So there's literally no IP addressing at all found in here. Okay, here we go. Open search. So discover, just showing what the interface looks like, is very, very similar to Kibana Elasticsearch. So it's pretty much competitors, which is interesting to me because Wazuh used to be a part of Security Onion and they broke out into their own SIEM. And I wonder if they chose an alternative, maybe because it's less consumption of resources, or they just want to do something completely different from Security Onion. I'm not sure. Something interesting I'd like to find out more about. All right, so installing agent. I want to point this out. Never do this. Never go to the web page and click on the agent from the web page. Always use your installation, which I'm showing you here. And the reason I say that is because if you do it from the web page, you need to configure a lot of data about mainly where your Wazuh, central hub is located. So the IP address for the Wazuh hub. And that's something you don't want to go through the headache if you don't have to, right? Learning how to get into the file structure of the configurations for the agent. Just go through what's built into Wazuh that I'm showing you here. Let's install the manager IP. Let's give it a name. And then at the very end, we'll get a command we copy out and paste into our agent, or paste into our endpoint. All right, so let's go back out of endpoint. Let's paste this in. There we go. We are now getting the Wazuh agent set up. Let's take a look at the status of it, see if it's running. And it's not. Okay, it says here that there's an issue with the manager IP. So what's the reason that this had an issue? So basically, what I was saying was a problem with downloading from the actual web page ended up being a problem for my system. I have no idea why that happened, but now we'll explore how do we change and update the manager IP. And the reason why it's confusing me because I obviously entered the information before I received the command to run within my endpoint. So I use grep, and grep is a utility built into most Linux and Unix-based systems. It is a search. It can look for characters in the output provided, which the output can be a file that you're pointing it to, or it can be the response to another command such as ls, which lists out directories. But either way, it reads from the standard out of a command presented or a file presented to it. So in this case, I'm telling it to look through the directory and all the files in the directory for the text here, which is all caps, manager_IP. Now you can ignore the caps portion by putting a -I. The -R is recursive and -L is I believe the line, but I thought it would output a line, it just didn't. I'm not sure, but anyway, if you use that command, you'll find what I found here, which out of all these lists here is kind of just your best guess, right? And what I look at and stuck out to me was the /var/bin/Wazuh-agent. That made the most sense to me. So I'm going to use that file. Let's go and look into the file and see where we need to change that particular entry. Now, another way you can do this is just, if you trust your skills within Linux, you don't have to open the file at all. You can just run a sed command, which will just substitute what it finds for the value you give it. So I could have done a sed, look for manager, all caps, all caps IP, and then giving it the IP address for the manager node or the hub node for Wazuh. But in this case, I'm just doing it manually. I find it. Now I'm going to go through and do the edits. Now I do enjoy using VI or Vim. If you're a nano person, shame on you, but go for it. I'm kind of like a purist when it comes to Linux, and what I mean by that is I look at using tools that are in every version of Unix or Linux, and I know VI is in the majority of them. Way back, Nano wasn't introduced until I want to say like the 2010s, late 2010s, close to like 2015, 2016. It started being already pre-packaged in a lot of the distros. Before that, it was just VI, and I think it was Emac before VI. But either way, if you know VI, you'll be able to really work on any Linux distro you come across for the most part. All right, so that was modified. I'm just double checking, make sure there's no other file I need to look into. I believe that should be good. Let's go and clear the screen. And rerun the start command. So CTL space start space Wazuh-agent. And hopefully the magic happens. We're looking for something green. It says active. Why the hell does it take us long? That's so weird. Oh yeah, just starting it. You can use status to look and see if it's active. There we go. All right, cool. It is now active and it shows enabled in green. So that means this service will start up each time the machine restarts. All right, there you have it. Let's go and refresh the screen. We should see now one agent. Woohoo! One agent total. Disconnected agents 1. I have no idea why it says that, but we are looking at reverse proxy. Let's go and explore just one of the modules, the security events. And there you have it. We are getting logs. Now, kind of what I was telling you before, MITRE attacks in the top right where it just says valid accounts and this account of 3 authentications successfully. So I think that's pretty cool. And this is just a view into what those logs look like in OpenSearch. Pretty cool. I just wish we had IP address stuff. All right, so let's go and do a live demo of how to install. This is going to be interesting. All right, so like I said, this is live demo time. We're going to show you how to change the admin password, which I haven't done yet, but I'm including in the video as a live demo. Now, what I found here, I'm not sure if this works. This is a Stack Overflow page, but there is a package we can download from this website, which I should check. Let's just type in packages.wazuh.com. Now, why do I do this? I just do this because I want to make sure that this is a legitimate tool. Who owns this one? In fact, I should get to it from Wazuh's website. Password. If you use the tool in an all-in-one deployment, it automatically updates the password when necessary. If you use the distributed environment, depending on the user whose password you change, see change the password in distributed environment. Not sure what that means. Okay. Password tool is embedded in Wazuh Indexer under this. You can use embedded version or download here. Look at that. Isn't that wonderful? So thank you very much, Stack Overflow, for pointing me in the right direction. And thank you, Ricardo, for thinking security first and not trusting a link that we find on a web page that's not owned by the vendor. So let's go ahead and do this. So I do like the fact they have this already. Run this after command will change all Wazuh services and need password plus the admin. Note the password and use the admin 1 to log in again. Let's see what we do. All available options to run the scripts are here. Change all Wazuh indexer and API user passwords. Print the screen. I don't want to do that. Change the Wazuh password given the current password. I like that option. Requires this and password. This is just a lot. Why do we have so many options here? Admin user for the Wazuh password API required for changing the Wazuh app. Okay, why does it matter? Oh, I don't know what I just clicked on. Anyway, indicates the new password. Indicates the name of the user whose password will be changed. If no password specified, it will generate a random one. I like this. This seems more like safe to me, I guess. Because the rest of these are like, why? So detailed. So it says do this. Okay. Yeah, that's what I was planning on doing. So let's just do it that way. Bam. Bash and tool. So let's do that command. Let's see what happens when I go into, as I told you before, I changed over to container. So that's why it's not a VM anymore. So we go to console. It's going to log in. Yes, as root. And don't know what just happened. I hate Chrome. Why am I using Chrome? I have my Firefox up and running. I'm even thinking about switching over to the Movad browser. Because I'm thinking about switching my VPN to Movad. Alright, clear. And I want to see, well, first of all, let's take a look at the directory it gave us. Alright, so let's just copy and paste this and go there. Copy, CD, paste. LS. Wapow! There we go. Wazuh passwords tool. Cert tool, security admin tool. Yay! Alright, so I feel good about this now. Let's go ahead and bash, which I don't need to do bash because you do /Wazuh password -u admin and -p for password. Just want to double check that. And the option is here. Yep, that's it. All right, I'm gonna give my super secret password that you will never, ever, 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 ever know. And in fact, I am going to use my password generator to make sure it is complex. And I can just copy and paste it. Yay. So let's put an entry for Wazuh, do a new entry. I'm not showing that screen. I'm just trust me what I'm doing. You'll see a very long entry. Wazuh admin is my entry. Admin is the username and password. I want to roll that dice. Give me something good. And that looks good enough. Let's copy and paste it. And does it need double quotes? I can't remember. No, it's just straight up password. Okay.
An attempt was made.
Okay, I'm not liking this. I'm just gonna make one up. Let's just do it. Let's do it the old-fashioned way. So it needs to have a capital, one upper lowercase letter, a number, and a symbol. It only accepts these symbols. Well, let's just substitute the symbols then. So dash is available. We'll turn this one into a parentheses, other parentheses, do asterisk, question mark is fine, and plus sign. Bam. This is my new password. This one will work. What? No, I have that. Oh. The other, no, it's there. How are you gonna tell? Oh, I don't think those are special characters. I don't think those are characters are allowed. I think it was literally closing. So, hell, just take them out, right? Let's just take them out. We don't need that many characters. It's nice, but we don't need it. Sysax, yes. There was a dashboard and file beat node if necessary. Okay, so we did all-in-one deployment. So it's going to take care of the password where necessary. Only if we did distributed do we need to do a different setup. So we're good. We're not worried about this. Changing password for all users. We don't need to do that. Wazuh coming up now. And I do have another user, but I'm going to try admin. And let's see if my password is still the same. Invalid. All right, let's go restart. Yes, I can use the option reboot if I wanted to, but I like using inits. So init 6, I learned a long time ago, is how you tell it to restart. Init 0 is how you tell it to shut down, and I have no idea what the rest of the digits do. But hey, something to look into if you're interested. All right. God, I love containers. So fast. Now, this doesn't mean the services are back up already. Let's see. Yep, still waiting for it to boot up. To load everything. But still, it's fast. Yeah, already up. That's like not even a minute. All right, admin. Copy password. New password works. We did it, everyone. We are geniuses. Yes, we are. And I spelled admin wrong for my password generator, password manager. All right, cool. So we got 5 agents, and let me show you how you create a new user, which I had to look up. We go into the hamburger menu, as they call it, left side. We go down to security, and here we go down to internal users. And I created one called tester. You create your own, but just go create new internal user, and then voila, there you go. And just put in the password. Don't worry about this stuff. Now you do want to do a role, actually. Do admin as your role. And attributes, yeah, I don't know this one. This is optional. Don't worry about it. Just put admin as your role and hit create, and you'll have a new user. All right, y'all, so that is it. I appreciate you sticking around with me. I hope you enjoyed this walkthrough of Wazuh. And really is not much in the configuration area for Wazuh that I've gone through. The reason why Wazuh is a very customizable SIEM / XDR, and it's something that I still have to dig into because it's a lot, I believe, compared to just installing a new integration like with Security Onion. With Wazuh, you have to build out rule sets, so you have to do some formatting of like files and stuff. So I will be learning that and showing it as we go through, but for the most part, the default installation is all we need, and it comes with a SIEM, which is a file integrity manager built into it as well, which I love. So really, I know if you watched my video on my entire grand plan schema of my cyber range, I wanted to install a FIM, but now that I have Wazuh, I don't have to. So it's really cool. But yeah, so that's it, y'all. So thanks for sticking around. The next video is actually going to walk you through where I found I was compromised using the tools we just installed. So kind of ironic in the case, but at the same time, useful for everyone to watch. So tune in for that video. If you like this one, please subscribe, comment, and also share what you have, what you thoughts are, and as well as share with people you know. And let's continue the journey together. Talk to you later. Bye.